Check. Shea.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes.
Stewie. Stewart.
I have to do the check for Kadar. He makes me do the 5, 4, 3, 2.
Kador.
Coming to you guys.
All right, Shea. Start us
Then
off. How was your
check
weekend?
the mics, whatever. Start.
Weekend was good. Weekend was good.
Wait till you count them down.
I count them down, and then they check the mics.
Oh, okay. You do that right before. That's all right. A little reverse. That's what makes the show good. That's why I should chop it up with Kador every Monday at 10.
Yeah.
But today is Wednesday at 10, and we are Recruiting Power Hour with the host, Shea Dixon. Thank you for joining us, brother. How was your weekend?
It was good. I LSU Florida left the message boards without a sour taste in their mouths, which I appreciate because that makes it easy to have fun and have dialogue about the game and about the season.
Did you go to the swamp?
I did not go to the swamp. I did go to the Dome though on Sunday.
Tough weekend.
Yeah, and watch that.
What's like watching your kids grow up? You know, Joey B and Jamar.
I was in Saints garb.
Yeah, you have to be. Like,
He is a Saints fan, but
Yeah.
like, you know.
But
still
people
watching your kids grow
overblow
up.
the Bengals Saints whole like it's some sort of dilemma. It's like, no, I want to see those two eat. I'd like the Saints to win, but you can't. I'll never root against Joey and Jamar. They did too much for me.
Yeah, I know.
Probably too much
Well,
happiness.
they did it again.
Yeah, that they just ran it back.
Euphoric experience. For
It
sure.
was
Like,
what was funny was being on the other end of it for the first time ever. It's like, oh, this is what happened. This is what in 2019. This is what happened to him every week. They're like, fucking Joey and Jamar again, and I was like, yes.
Right.
This I was like, oh no.
Speaking of 2019, have y'all heard the smoke that the new Tennessee 2022 team is 2019 LSU? I think they need to stop.
Well, the reality is they don't have
They don't have the
a
horses.
number one pick and 5 first rounders and 15 total
Yeah,
draft picks.
like
running
they ain't
around.
They don't have an NFL team.
Like, is their offense good? Yeah, but what made that special was if they run off the number one pick and the Hyatt kid goes and has the career Jamar Chase and Jefferson have had, holler at me.
Right. Let me know. LSU had 2 of them. They had
And Clyde.
And
just
Clyde.
chilling in the backfield.
because people forget about Justin.
This is just what
Jamar
happens.
did.
Remember, I mean, Miami at least had a stranglehold on what was considered the best college team for multiple decades, right? Even through all the great Bama teams, which there were probably a Bama team or two in there that you go back and look at it and say, oh man, that team might have been as good as any of the Miami teams or, the best Miami teams. But then when they had that LSU team, it was we may never see anything like this ever again. And here we are.
Well, they did. Then they
3
did,
years later in middle of October, and
But they did it in 2020 with Alabama. We're like, oh, is this better than the 2019 team? It's like, no, they just played.
this is also the reaction to Bama losing. But the reality is, I think Saban had one undefeated season at Bama. I mean,
Was that what, 15?
He's only had one. He
they
loses.
do lose.
Yeah, every year. They
It's
lose a
not
game
like
every
Tennessee has pulled something that no one's done before. No knock on Tennessee. That atmosphere looked amazing. Their offense was putting it on them. But again, Bama could have lost last week when Haynes King was throwing it to the end zone to try to win it.
Well, almost to the end zone.
Almost to the end zone to try to win it.
year.
Let's get it down to the one. We got one more play.
Couple yards shy.
Had Quinn Ewers stayed in that game, there's a line of thought that Texas might have beaten Bama. I'm not sure this Bama is what all the other, especially without, the Milroe game, obviously, with A&M makes it a little different. But Bryce Young, missing the potential number one pick hurts a little bit.
A little bit, yeah, I would say so. You saw what he did, like
Against Tennessee.
yeah, what he had to do to keep Alabama in the game because that Tennessee offense was humming. They forced I think they forced Hendon Hooker's first turnover, and I don't know how many years. It was some crazy stat, but you saw how the Alabama train can the momentum that they can kind of ride out because Bryce Young keeps him in the game. He keeps you in every football game because he's so good. But yeah, miss me with the Tennessee is better than LSU 2019. Fantastic environment though. They look like they've been waiting for that party for I don't know how many years.
Okay, so
Just
Bama's
before the
had
iPhone came out.
Oh, 2003.
Bama's had two. What year did Saban get there?
8.
8. They've had 2 undefeated seasons. The COVID year, Mac Jones, they went undefeated. And then 2009, they went 14-0.
So they went.
2009 was the Texas game. whenever they
2009, yeah, would have been when like McElroy was the quarterback. Mark Ingram would have been the running back.
He did the double A's in the end zone, and then they knocked out Colt McCoy in like the first play of the first quarter, and Gilbert had to come in. Grayson, what's his name? He was a high recruited guy. He made it to the NFL, but he was a freshman. And
Seeing ghosts.
Oh man, he played. They had a couple of good throws, but it was over at that point. Colt McCoy couldn't feel his arm.
Oh God.
And of course,
He's
Alabama gets lucky.
Hey.
Knock out your starter.
Yeah, that
in
was
the national
Texas.
championship. Yeah. Bring
So,
Vince Young back.
I think that Tennessee, in a sense, could be caught up. Look, for them, Bama's a rival, but there's the sense of they did something that nobody else does, and that's not true.
Not the case. Yeah, that is a good way to look at it because
the year after Bama went undefeated in 2009, they lost. So we'll go 2010 on. Lost 3 games, 1 game, 1 game, 2 games, 2 games, 1 game, 1 game, 1 game, 1 game, 2 games. Went undefeated in the COVID year, and then lost 2 games. Now have lost 1 game.
yeah, is Nick Saban overrated?
No.
Should we be looking for a new coach?
Oh, I'm
No,
sure.
because actually, when you start to count up that the end of the season, those national championships stack up on you in a
There's
hurry.
rings on rings.
But losing once is not out of the Bama recipe for being good. And I don't think just because Tennessee. No, that I went on a tangent, Stewie, but no, this is not 2019 LSU.
And you know how you got to 2019 LSU? It's through recruiting, which is what we're talking about here.
Hooker's a transfer quarterback, though. That's a similarity.
Where did he come from? Where was he?
Virginia Tech.
And then remember, Heupel didn't even start him last year. They were running with the other dude, homeboy, for
Milton.
Milton for
From
6 games.
Michigan.
Not until he got hurt where they put Hooker in.
Kind of a Joey B type scenario for him.
He found
Transfers.
his best hooker.
Doesn't even get that. Is out of sight, out of mind. Now he might win the Heisman.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, he's probably the front runner for the Heisman just because of the story. I know it's because of its very recency bias, because of what we just saw against Alabama, and you're like, all right, he had his Heisman moment with the win.
So what if they just lose to everybody?
That's what I'm saying. Then you just then it's back to Bryce Young.
Then we just
Yeah.
right? C.J. Stroud.
I have a little future on Jahmyr Gibbs that I'm hoping
God, this guy.
could cash. He should be in the Heisman conversation. He's the best player on their offense aside from the quarterback. They get him the ball like 30 times. And so if Alvin Kamara would have actually played at Tennessee, this is how they should have used him.
Okay. Where do we want to start? Should we start in the chat? Should we start with just some general...
Give us your general feel from the weekend and what happened with if there's any recruiting news, anything like that, anything, just kind of recap where we are from last week.
Here's the thing. I often say, like I said, after the Tennessee game when they got blown out, good news for LSU fans. The kids, the recruits do not live with the wins, and they don't live week to week on it. So I've got to keep that same energy after they get a huge win. I can't roll out the next week and say they're going to get all these commitments and now it's going to pay. No new commitments. It certainly helps. It's got a lot of kids talking about it, but for me, you're in a great spot. I mean, before the season, I'll tell you what LSU's done really well at. I said this on my podcast, on the Bengal Tiger, this week. LSU did a really good job, guys, this year of in the off season, when everyone's minds are running wild about how good LSU can be or how bad they'll be or whatever it might, outcome you've got in your mind and you're convinced of, the staff was selling all of these recruits on this. It's not going to be a great year. I mean, there were multiple commitments saying Coach X on the staff told me basically they were going to suck this year.
Yeah, the reason they recruit me is because they think I could play next year.
And they were telling them the same thing Brian Kelly was saying publicly of this is year one of having to reteach a team everything. And it really wasn't even a team. It was just a collection of a bunch of transfers, some returning guys, coaches, all new coaches. So that we're seeing it in season, them trying to work towards actually becoming a team. And they're, as we hit the midway point this past week, they start to look more like a team. But they were selling these recruits on the reality that this season wasn't going to be likely some 10-win season. They were going to have tough losses, and that was just the foundation level of what was to come. And these guys would come in and sign and be on the team next year, and they're part of building it back up to where the LSU standard is. So you couple, you couple that approach in recruiting, and you get all. I mean, I think they'll sign. Let's make up a number: 28 high school guys. They got 22 of them committed before the season started. They haven't lost a commit or gained a commit since the season began. That's allowed them to put the entire bulk of the class together, certainly in-state wise and a lot of notable out-of-state guys. The core of the group is there. Now you can focus on the actual team, coaching during the week, game days, but yes, while bringing recruits in, while working towards next year's class, but the target became a lot smaller in terms of like the overall pool of guys you have to be after. Let's say maybe you only sign 6 or 5 to 7 more high school guys. There's not a lot of risk, their inherent risk for fallout, right? If they were to go 6-6 or whatever, but you only had 12 commitments. Well, now you got to convince 16 more guys to get in the class off of a 500 season. They did all the heavy lifting before the season to avoid anything. They're actually 6-2, so things are going well. And if you continue to play well, you can set yourself up to close strong. So I like the whole approach they've had. I think it's been very wise to build this class in the offseason, get them in ahead of their senior years, make senior year evals, and kind of press guys and finish the class from there.
Did you know that going into this year? That I didn't put that together until you just told me that they were kind of recruiting with the idea that maybe LSU, maybe we won't be good this year. So let's get everybody in the boat before they have the chance to really see that LSU's like, oh man, this isn't the LSU that I wanted to see. But it turns out LSU, a respectable year up to this point. But with you having that knowledge beforehand, were you thinking that this LSU year wouldn't be very good in terms of on the field?
Yeah, well, I mean, I thought when Vegas set it at 7 wins that was probably going to be accurate.
Yeah.
And they're kind of, potentially could get to that or more, obviously. But
that would be excellent.
Yeah, and I could just tell by how the recruits were talking, and just from talking to different sources, that nobody was trying to sell anybody a bill of goods about, look, this is going to be great. We're going to be awesome. We're going to, it was, hey, we're rebuilding this. This is year 1. It ain't going to look pretty, but here's what we're selling for the future and what we want to build. And I think that's what guys were buying into. And I can remember too, though, they entered July with 5 commits. So
that's when people started
there
to
was
freak
also
out.
the sense of they knew, all right, guys, senior year start in 2 months. We've got to make these 2 months count. And they did. They got 19 commits or whatever.
Have you seen since you've been covering LSU, it kind of, I don't want to say this smooth, but it feels like it's more, there's not a lot of surprises. There's not a lot of whispers around, either decommitting or anything like that.
No.
Does it feel the smoothest recruiting?
I don't think it's not the smooth. I think it's smooth in the sense of how you're thinking about it, because a lot of there are no more guys out in the state who are sitting around in the top 10 that they're uncommitted and are in it and so I guess I should say that initially people would react this time and think how smooth things are going if guys are not committed yet. Why are they not committed? Or if they're committed somewhere else and you're trying to flip them. But there was this reality through the coaching change, and I said it then a million times, and I don't think any LSU fan ever thought differently, but a group of the top 10 were never coming to LSU. Arch Manning was never coming to LSU. Eli Holstein was never coming to LSU. Jaden Osbury was never coming to LSU. Tackett Curtis was never coming to LSU. Derek Williams would have been the surprise that you thought, kid out of Westgate would at least be looking at LSU, and he committed right after Arch did to Texas, and he almost does nothing with his recruitment. He doesn't post about it. He doesn't go on visits. It was kind of a quiet commitment. So once they then found a way to get all the other guys, Shelton Sampson, Zalance Hurd, Tyree Adams, both running backs, Kai Preon, I could go up and down the list. I'm sure Ashton Stamps. I'm sure I'm missing some guys here, and I don't mean to be. But it didn't, that felt like it was a job well done. You knew those other guys weren't coming, so then get all these other guys in state. You did, and that sort of set them up well. So, yeah, I think they're kind of on track, and there aren't any big shocks or worry spots right now just because they played it right. They weren't trying to chase guys that weren't going to come here, and they made sure to close the guys that were.
Did now that we're down this rabbit hole, I was going back to what I guess the class that LSU is working on now. Is it easier? It's easier to sell almost the one advantage of what happened with LSU and losing all the kids to whether it be the transfer portal of the NFL, just kind of having that lack of scholarship players on the roster. Did that actually be like a positive for LSU in recruiting this year?
I mean, it could be. You can spin it any way. We need more help. Yeah, I mean, it could be. I think every cycle is about the same. You're shooting for the best of the best, and you're filling needs, and anything beyond that is just pitching them to be part of the program. Now, there are some spots on the team, tight end, corner, where you can look to the future and say, like, we don't have guys, we need you. You will play early. Like Mason Taylor probably knew he was going to play early because he was one of only 2 scholarship players on the roster.
They're bringing cats off the baseball team to come back and play. And then you move Besh out of the tight end room, and then it becomes, shit, I only see one other person in here with me, and it's Cole Taylor. So I feel like I'm going to have a pretty big role in this offense. And credit to him for being able to step in and fill that void a little bit, because him getting this early playing time is only going to be something that you see down the line when he's a junior. Like, he's been here forever. And he's going to be so comfortable in the system at that point. He's going to be – I can only see his stock going up.
Right. I like that take.
Thank you. I've been working on that one a little bit. Trying to fine-tune it every morning, 7 to 9, Jordy Culotta Show. Check us out there on the same channel. Do you want to get to some Ash Shades because we have some rolling in?
Yeah. And I guess I can't scroll up too far. All right, let's shout out Hunter Fournette, who joined the Bengal Tiger this week.
Get him a hat.
So it's hats on the way. He was sent the link. Andre Chavez said, any Toviano news? So Javian Toviano, the corner DB out of Texas, I think he's ranked as a safety, but LSU likes him at corner, is a guy who's uncommitted, certainly one of their top uncommitted targets, but Billy Embody from the site is going to go out on Friday and watch him play and then talk to him after. But Toviano is the type that keeps things so close to the vest, and
Speaking of hats.
We've talked about it before where he, like, Friday, I think Billy went and saw him at a game, and he was like, yeah, I'll be at the Texas game tomorrow. And then the next morning he was in Baton Rouge. So, like, a little bit of misdirection, a little bit I'm not saying anything anyways, leaves you guessing. But LSU's 100% in it there, and they'll get more visits from him. But to guess what he's up to right now would be setting yourself up for failure.
I know you say that, but everything that you say, every time we bring up Toviano or he gets brought up to us, it's the same. It's how could you not put LSU as the leader in the clubhouse at this point? Because everything that he's
based
done,
off his actions,
right?
Based off his actions, you would say that LSU has made the biggest impact. But for me I know right. This. I haven't talked to anyone that said like he's silently committed and it's just a done deal waiting to happen. They're fighting tooth and nail.
Yeah. When you have to keep, what is he an early commit? Will he be like an early signee?
I'd have to check that, but I bet that he announces after his season ends, anyways.
Yeah, I just didn't know if he was going to try to be an early enrollee because somebody that has it down to, it feels like a couple of schools and schools that you're certainly, I don't know, like almost it feels like he's ready to make a decision. I would hate to see him lose the ability to early enroll because that seems to be.
I don't think he's early enrollee, so.
Well, when you saw what happened with Will Campbell and Emory Jones and how it that is what made the difference in Emory not being a starter is he wasn't able to enroll early because of the rules at Catholic.
Still a starter.
Yeah. Oh no, but I'm saying it took him until the Mississippi State game. It took him 2 weeks to have to get on the field where he should have been out there week 1.
Be all right.
Yeah, we'll be all right.
All right.
Cordell Music, shout out Cordell. Ryan Robinson from Endicott told me he was never offered by LSU. Why? I think Robinson's, first off, he's 5'10", 160 something. I think he's just on the smaller side of what they typically take at corner. Not that doesn't mean he's a good player. I think he's going to end up at Nebraska. Mickey Joseph is going to sign a big Louisiana haul this year. A lot of guys. I mean, he just offered another guy yesterday in the state for this year. So do you think he'll be retained on staff? I think it's in his contract that if he's not named the head coach, he gets to be the receiver coach.
Oh, that's a great coup for him.
So
not great for Louisiana.
Probably gonna get a raise.
Yeah, I mean, could get the job.
Trey Palmer went crazy.
Trey Palmer's been playing. He's been playing out of his mind.
I think he's leading the country in receiving yards.
I saw someone said, "Man, I miss that guy when he could kind of return punts for us."
Yeah. Hey. I mean, shit, we need him. But if you put Trey Palmer back there, you feel a little bit more confident about whatever that debacle is. You at least thought Jack Besh could catch him, but he tried to go full. What is that movie with the kid, Little Giants, where he just sticks it in the face mask?
Now he's got a back. Spinal.
Yeah, it broke his back. Spinal.
It's tough.
But we have a couple dated. I mean, I don't. He's going to try to gut it out, but I just don't know how much that helps you if he's just actually hurt. It's like.
Let's see. Cordell said also asked about Dylan Williams, linebacker from Long Beach Poly in California. Is he on the radar? He just decommitted from USC, and his teammate is Dalen Austin, who's committed to LSU right now for this class. On the radar, doesn't have an offer yet. Wouldn't surprise me, I guess, if they eventually did offer, but I'm not sure if he's really got any SEC offers yet. I'm not sure he has a single one, but with 24, they're handing out new offers each week as they see more film and everything like that. So that's a name to keep an eye on, certainly even more so if Dalen Austin does sign. Will Burton, who's been a recruit in the past at LSU, didn't recruit or offer, and your mind was blown because of it. It's got to be a Louisiana person.
No doubt.
I'm
trying to think of
Travis Etienne.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I guess they technically did offer, but it was like super late.
Well, they were all in the Cam Akers. Was it Cam Akers?
Yeah, might have been that year.
What about essentially like in the current times, and we're thin at linebacker? What about Edrin Cooper?
That was going to be my answer. I think that's a good one.
At Texas A&M.
And they did offer him, but it was super late, and it was already done.
It's always so late on these kids.
Yeah, right. But he was, and then he signed. They didn't want him to sign early, and he did in December. They thought they could have flipped him. That's a good one.
Arch Manning.
We're not even offering Arch.
No, did not gonna come here. I'm trying to think. Obviously, my mind goes to Alabama and who Nick Saban was able to get, but that's more of them. That's not the same question.
That's just stealing.
Yeah, that's just stealing.
Thief.
Edrin Cooper. Great pool. I mean, Christian Harris, does that count?
No, they were recruiting him. I thought Dontavian Wicks coming out of Plaquemine was one they could offer. He's been really good at Virginia for a couple years. But receiver's tough because it's not like you can ever fault him. They always do usually recruit good receivers. But that year, I thought that Wicks should have been offered. I'm trying to think of older than that. I was in the camp that thought that Amik Robertson should have been offered and like pressed to be in the class, and it was kind of like Corey liked him maybe, but then it wasn't a take at the time or whatever.
Wasn't it like he was too short?
Yeah, he was like 5'6" or whatever. So
in the league though.
Who was this?
Amik Robinson. He played at Thibodeau.
Did he go to Louisiana Tech?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard that
Plays
name.
for the Raiders now.
See.
Tough place.
Player coach.
There's room on that roster. They make sure of that.
Oh, jail team.
As long as you keep your nose clean, you'll be able to play. You'll find some downs for you over in Las Vegas. Tough place to stay clean.
Oh.
But he's got that Rustin blood. You know, Louisiana Tech sets you up to not be able to do anything fun for the rest of your life because you just spent 4 years doing nothing.
Yeah, I'm just here.
I'm just here to play football.
Rustin, Louisiana, baby.
Get you to the league.
Go Bulldogs.
Go Bulldog. Do they do this?
I don't know what they do.
But
the Dogs.
That's a I'm not to.
So do you have an answer? I like the Edrin Cooper one.
What are you looking at? How did you? I need like a list.
I don't know. My mind.
Yeah.
Tack it.
Offered
I thought that's what you were going to say.
No.
I'm
out
Will
on
Burton, recruiting podcast Fire. Shout out.
Will
Burton. Hunter Fournette, Major Burns practice non-contact, LFG. I would imagine. I think he's got that neck thing. If it's non-contact now, he's probably not going this week.
Yeah, he's not playing this week.
You would sit him on bye, and you want these guys back for Bama. Same with Dellinger.
If we want to stay on the
Graham Kelly, here's a fun one for y'all. Project the starting quarterback each year over the next 5 years.
So, Jalen, JD5, can come back next year, right? Like, he's only technically a junior.
This would be
That's where this
impossible
hypothetical
to
comes into play.
It'd be impossible to do.
What do you mean?
I
Impossible
don't.
to do? You go.
Well, if one guy comes back and then what, is Nuss going to transfer?
That's what he's asking you.
I have no idea. I don't know what Jaden Daniels is doing, so how could I even project?
Because he wants to, I would imagine he wants to hear that it's going to be
I'll just
Walker,
say this.
Walker, Ricky.
The pressure being put on Walker right now is insane. That people just assume because he was a highly ranked player, he finished as a 5-star, that he's just going to come in and set the world on fire.
His own daddy did it on the show. Jamie came on here and said he thinks he's the best quarterback in the room.
I know. I heard that.
We didn't
Maybe
do it.
he is.
I mean, I'm sure he obviously projects to be the best, but I think for what it's worth, it's not worth anything. But I think that what Brian Kelly's doing with the way they're handling Walker is the perfect scenario. Just let him. It's okay to wait sometimes. Like let him
100%.
let it marinate, and because you don't want to fall back on what the old staff did.
Well, I hate the rhetoric of like, oh, well, if he doesn't go in, like play him this year. Like after Tennessee, everyone was like, play him. Like screw Jaden Daniels.
Yeah,
it's time
punt on the year.
How are we going to know what we have for next year if Garrett and Walker don't play? Well, fortunately, the coaches get to watch them every single day at practice, so I'm fairly certain they know exactly what they have. It's the one thing I'll never get over is how popular the backup quarterback is at LSU.
Yeah,
and now how popular the third stringer is at LSU, or the third guy. I don't
highest
know
recruit,
what their actual rep rate is, but
people are obsessed with potential. I mean that's what I was afraid of because of what happened at LSU in the past, whether it be Brandon Harris, Jarrett Lee, Jordan Jefferson.
Nothing will get the blood flowing like potential.
But yeah, and then it's like, well, put him in. Shit, I mean, we don't know what we're doing on offense anyway. So go put in another quarterback. Anthony
they
Jennings
can't block.
Can get snaps.
Put him in.
Yeah, the perfect scenario for a freshman quarterback. Let's put him behind.
Look, I'm all for it. I hope
good.
Garrett Nussmeier is great. I hope Walker Howard's great.
I hope they all play at the same time together.
I can just imagine how much pressure those kids have on them when fans think that they're just going to step right in and it's going to be so smooth.
40 touchdowns, 6 interceptions.
No interceptions.
None. Rushing scores.
60 touchdowns.
Talking about freshmen that are on the LSU roster currently, Hunter Fournette had another little scenario that I'm going to tweak just a little bit. He was talking about 6 stars, but the Athletic named their freshman midseason All-American team.
Yeah.
Obviously, LSU had a strong showing.
Who all they put?
Who did you think that they put?
They put 3 people?
Yeah.
Okay, so they put Emory, or did they put Will and Harold Perkins?
Mm-hmm. And Emory.
And Emory.
Okay.
No Mason Taylor?
No Mason Taylor.
No Mason Taylor, love coach?
We're trying to get him out there.
Trying to get him out there.
Did they put the A&M kid at tight end?
Yes.
Mason Taylor's a little better.
But with that news, you can only pick one of those 3 for the next 3 years to have. If you could have your choice of Will Campbell, Emory Jones, or Harold Perkins, you can only have one.
What game are you playing?
Well, I'm just saying you can only have one.
I'll choose the left tackle.
Like, come on now, stop it.
Well, I'm just saying, would you rather Harold Perkins or Will Campbell?
I'd rather a left tackle.
Yeah, give me that.
That's what I was getting at. Like, as much as people talk about old Perk, Will Campbell is probably still your star of the class.
Just stay that linebacker coach.
They can both be stars, and Emory can be a star too.
Well, that's
and shout out Mason, you'll be a star.
You're a star.
Everyone's a star. Don't worry, guys.
I'm telling you, we're gonna get Walker out there. And
Walker's the biggest star. He hasn't even played.
Yeah, that would get him in there.
He needs to play right now.
He's not even an All-American at his freshman year. What the hell?
BTJ Neighbors and Besh fin to eat next year. You would hope. You
don't like to play the transfer portal game.
Well, I don't think any of those guys are transferring.
No. That's like your 3 starting receivers next year, probably.
Only one ball.
Hey, only one ball.
We had a chat from Jane Ann West. Xavier Ford, nephew of Michael Ford, Leesville sophomore running back, apparently is tearing it up.
Jesus. Well, I need to look at him then. Shout out
how big
to
are his legs?
Jan Ann West for that, because if he's a sophomore, that's the 25 class, and there are like Harlan Berry is in that class. He may end up being the number 1 running back in the country.
God, that kid is.
Then there's
sick.
other kids popping up every week now. People are telling me about running backs in that class.
And then there's like a kid at
About to eat.
like Episcopal maybe. That's really good.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna start writing. I usually don't pay attention to the sophomore class when I'm focused on this year and what they're doing next year, but early on, people are talking nonstop about the running backs in that class.
These numbers can't be real for Harlan Berry. Huddle, 5'11", 165, 4'3", 40, 42-inch vertical.
Well, you're allowed to put whatever you want into your huddle.
Squats 500 pounds. Like nah.
Turn on the tape, coach.
I do want to watch him play.
He's really good.
Offers from everywhere.
Yeah, I see Will Burton. Shout out Chris Hilton. I think when Chris Hilton's healthy, he's one of their, certainly for next year, one of their best options. And you'll have Ibieta, so they'll have some guys next year.
Is Ibieta like hurt?
Yeah, he was in like concussion protocol for a bit.
Special teams reps will get you ass.
How bad is Ricks for Bama? I don't know what Ricks is up
doesn't
to.
even
He
play.
doesn't play.
Let's see what Eli Ricks stats.
I also
He
think
has
there's
2 tackles on the year.
I also
looked
think
it up
there's
the
a
other day.
no nonsense approach in Tuscaloosa, and
Eli Ricks got a little
if you bring in
nonsense.
I'm just saying, there's a reason he's probably not playing as much as everybody else.
Yeah, after last weekend, I don't know why Nick wouldn't look at him.
I mean,
Maybe he does.
That's the game that you would hope to have him ready for, right?
Who's Caskey?
Oh, Coach Caskey.
Oh, Coach Caskey. They want to know about a change the tire competition.
Are you a tire changer?
Is he good?
He just knows how to do it. Everybody else here was like, I don't know.
I know.
I absolutely know how to do it.
2 solo tackles, coach.
2 tackles. I told you. Eli Ricks on the stat
I thought
sheet.
Caskey was going to be a recruit. Coach Caskey, got it.
He's the player's coach.
Change the
Coach
tire. I
on
don't
the
know.
field.
Why are me and Caskey having to battle? And if we're the only 2 that even know how to do it, why do we have to battle?
Well, yeah, I guess it's for Katie because she had a flat tire yesterday, and she's like, "I have a flat tire," and not one of us said anything. We were just like, "Okay." She's like, "Is anybody gonna help me change it?" We're like, "Oh no, we don't know how."
David can do that.
Yeah, David's out of town, and then Caskey's like, "Are y'all for real?" We're like, "Oh yeah, I'd call AAA, Katie."
Carpool Queen's biggest fear is a flat tire.
I mean, she
Let's be
drove
real.
here.
It's a
She
kryptonite.
drove here on the rim almost. Like the car was like basically on the rim.
Oh my god.
We were like, Katie, you
How
can't.
long does it take you to change a tire?
I mean, I've changed the tire like on the side of the highway before.
Oh,
Yeah, it was just experienced, coach.
is it raining?
No, it was just it was Thanksgiving.
But shout out Jane Ann West. I'll check out Xavier Ford.
Did you know he had a brother?
Wampus Cats. This is his nephew.
Oh, nephew. Speaking of Thanksgiving, I bet that's a fun one when they play football in the front yard.
Let's see. When will LSU wake up and recruit North Louisiana kids like Jalen Williams and Tate Hamby? I'm not sure.
What class is St. Martin's? 1A? Just like I'm just looking at who they're playing. Like, is this 1A?
Who's on him?
St. Martin's?
Yeah, who's the stud on St. Martin?
Harlan Berry.
Oh, so he's just running through cats.
I mean, coach, if you look at this is like Pee Wee football. Like this,
And he's a sophomore.
I'm about to send it to you on Twitter.
All right, good.
It's like,
But because the reason I think that there's so many running backs popping up, and I may be overthinking this, but the way that if you see what the NFL is doing right now with how much the talented quarterbacks, like all the numbers offensively are down because it feels like the defenses are doing a lot of keep everything in front, and they're not letting you kind of hit those big plays. So eventually the pendulum's going to have to swing back the other way, where you need like a Leonard Fournette, a running back that is going to be like the workhorse is going to come back, where these high school kids are going to get it 30 times a game again. Like you'll see, because of what defenses are doing, offenses are going to have to adjust. And there's no the game has changed so much that if you put somebody that's a stud at running back on the field a lot and getting kind of shift back to running the football, I think you'll see that position kind of go up again because of, the offenses have to adjust to it being nickel and dime packages literally every play. And it's like, well, if you don't have the size to match up with me at linebacker, I'm just going to run it. And if LSU has a bunch of talent in the state the next few years, sign me up.
talent status.
I don't know. I'm not sure I'm familiar with who Jalen Williams is. This guy Landon Owens asking about. Tate Hamby is a kid for next year at Ouachita Christian. But, again, in-state kids for 24. They take it a lot slower there. Need some more info there. I don't know those guys off the top of my head.
I mean, Harlan Bear's coaches comparing him to Peyton Manning.
Chili asked, what's the word on Harlan Berry? LSU's all over him. They want him bad. Running back, Louisiana.
What about Desmond Ricks? He said he just tweeted Hunter Fournette, shout out for keeping an eye on this stuff. Add you as a moderator. He just tweeted out the date, 10/22. So,
Commitment.
That's,
day.
I mean.
Well, he was at Florida for the LSU game.
They were begging him, please.
No, he's probably trimming lists. That kid is nowhere close to.
Who is it?
You're talking about Desmond Ricks is committing in a few days?
Oh, no, he just tweeted out 10/22, so I'd imagine it's a visit.
Or he's just trimming a list.
Yeah, he just added Hayes. Yeah, he's probably about to do a little graphic, you know?
Oh, yeah, he just added Hayes Fawcett.
Yep.
Shout out Hayes Fawcett.
How do you tell that?
It's on the Twitter.
It's on
so he added him.
It's on the tweeter.
Oh, he added him. I thought you meant he literally just followed him. I was like, you're digging deep. Now he's getting it added? Yeah, no, I would assume that's probably a list being trimmed down. But yeah, I know Tate Hamby is. I don't know the Jalen Williams kid. What's the word on Harlan Berry from Chile? Again, running back, beast for 25. Could be the number one running back in America. The Missouri tight end commit, LSU just offered. That guy's committed to Missouri to play baseball and football. I'm not sure what type of baseball prospect he would be for LSU, but football-wise, they offered him committable offer. I'm supposed to catch up with him this week. So for Chile, check the site. I should check the Bengal Tiger this week. I'll have a story on him, but I've got to talk to him first. I don't know much about him other than they went after him and offered him.
Wow.
Will Burton, Tadarius Collins, and Marjavius Moss need an offer now. I think with guys like that, like let's see, with like Collins is a good player. I think that he's a bit. Let me see. I pulled up some notes here.
Jermaine Burton just went to jail. We got booked in county jail last night.
I don't know if that's true.
I'm looking at the Mo shop.
Yeah, but like I think it might be like Photoshop.
So Collins is a kid, North Louisiana.
He's trending though. First name that popped up on the Google search.
All right, y'all figure that. I'll answer
You do the
this.
recruiting.
Do have a recruiting question when you're ready.
Yeah, Tadarius, I would say is a good looking prospect. But when you're putting on, he's just so raw. And when you're putting on full film of like the whole season, I think for an LSU level or a Bama or an A&M, like you're looking for a little bit more consistency there. And he's probably not there yet with where he's at as a prospect. Baylor, I think, high level school, like a school like that would be about where he's going to end up. Unless LSU makes a really late offer, but right now I'm not sure if that happens. Marjavius Moss is a good player. I think he could sneak into an SEC school late. I don't know if it'd be LSU. Honestly, I think if we're watching an in-state corner at this point who's not committed, or I should say does not have an offer from LSU, I think Carl Williams over at Southern Lab is one to watch. Really good track times, really good player. But Marjavius Moss is a good player. I like Macho Stevenson as well. I mean, that's his track is about as good as it gets, and there might become a time. I think he's committed to Texas Tech where he's having to choose on track or football just because he's so good at track, where they would want him out there pretty full time.
Speaking of kids that are good at track,
who?
Harbor. Do you want to give a Harbor update? I saw he made a list.
I mean, I think right now Nicholas Harbor, the team to beat is Michigan. Now that he's officially visiting, now that he will make an official visit to LSU in December, everywhere he's been so far, whether it was South Carolina or Michigan, there has been smoke surrounding the visit of him leaving and that staff feeling good about it. So there'll be some of that. But I think the reality of Jamar Keane does a really great job with D linemen, proven by how good their class already is. He's the lead recruiter there. Track and field is big here. LSU's got a better track and field program than any other school that he's in the mix for. Georgia, I don't know if any of these big schools are going to really try to come in and steal official visits late. But if there's one huge name out there, and I'm not including Toviano because I actually think LSU's in the lead for Toviano. If there's a big name that LSU's not in the lead for right now that they could be in the lead for at some point, I think it's Harbor. I think that December visit sets up well for that.
Oh, and I think we kind of buried the lead here a little bit. I don't know. You tell me. LSU safety commit Ryan Yates shutting down his recruitment.
Yeah. There had always been some flirtation. He's a Texas kid that he would like be invited to OU a bunch, and he's got some buddies and teammates that go up there. And it was like, oh, is he going with them? Did he show up? Did he not? Did he show up? Did he not? Is he on flip watch? Is he not? And I think ultimately he put out a message to kind of say, hey, look, thanks to everybody for recruiting me, but I'm firm with LSU. But still, he's one you just get him to the finish line in December, and then you worry a little bit less about that.
Just got that class canceled email.
Yeah. Oh, nothing but too
There
cold?
you go. It's too cold.
About to go take a nap.
Oh, Cordell Music. I joined last month, but I didn't get my hat. DM me on Twitter or something. I'll give you the link. You got to actually sign up for it.
We got you.
Just because you sign up for the $1 for the year, that doesn't like put the hat into the mailbox. You've got to actually fill out this link, but it doesn't take long. It takes like 2 seconds.
I'm on the On3 website right now, and I'm looking at all these 2023 prospects in Louisiana, and there's a lot of LSU predictions next to some names.
For 23?
For 23. Can't they sign more than 25
Yeah,
year?
you can go over 25.
Oh.
You can sign as many as you want as long as you stay under. By the
85.
time fall camp starts, you're under 85. You're at 85 scholarships or below.
I mean, what is LSU at right now?
Well, I mean,
I know that
they can be at 85. They probably gave like 20 walk-ons a scholarship, but when it gets back to it, those are kind of a yearly basis thing. I don't know. I'd have to do the math. I bet they're at 60-something or 70-something actual initial counter scholarships.
All right. I think we should be good there.
So you'll be good there.
What about David Jones? What are you hearing on his front? I saw the piece about Nebraska. He said Nebraska's his number one school. LSU's no smoke there.
I've not seen any smoke there. No. Is this
David Jones at Madison?
Are you talking about the kid out of prep?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard much LSU smoke there. Like I said, Mickey offered Joseph Cryer out at Nebraska, the Manny kid, this week. So, yeah, Nebraska, half their class might just be Louisiana Cats.
That doesn't affect LSU as much as you would think, right? That's kind of what.
No, but it's a smart strategy if you're getting the right guys. TCU's made a living out of it.
Well, I was about to say that's be my next point. Now that it feels like UL and no Billy Napier, it feels like that kind of void is open for Mickey.
No
to
doubt.
Kind of slither in.
Tulane's recruiting well though. Tulane's playing well, so Tulane right now I think is also kind of operating that space of in-state guys that maybe don't end up at LSU if you can convince them to stay in-state and not go to, even a Mississippi State or a TCU or something like that. So, I think that I haven't heard any smoke there recently, but.
And we have the group of visitors list for LSU. Ole Miss has just been dropped by Billy Embody. Do you want to run through some of these names?
I don't. I think he was going to drop it. He told me he was going to drop some names, and as we kind of have a running. Yeah, he called it a running list. We talked about Dalen Austin, kid out of California, committed to him. He'll be back. Jeremiah Hughes, another DB that's committed out of Vegas. He'll be back. Deshaun Womack's the biggest. I think of any kid that's committed in this class that could play. Like if you're asking who's the Will Campbell, who's the Harold, Mason Taylor, who's going to come in and start right away? I think it's Deshaun Womack. Yeah, I think he'll start as an edge rusher right away.
Player.
Ojulari will be gone. You could always move Savion Smith down as a hand in the dirt guy if you need to.
Gay will be gone.
Ali Gay will be gone. So I think that Womack, and it's funny too, Womack had told us that this weekend's visit will be the first time he's ever been to a college football game in his life.
What?
Wow. I mean,
It's like it's like doing. I don't know. It's like doing no drugs ever and then doing ayahuasca or something. It's like take me right to the pinnacle of the college football experience.
Don't they
right away?
Play
please.
A lot of games with Saturdays though at St. Francis?
All those kids. When St. Francis has got to go all over the country to play everybody. So even if they do play on Friday, they're like. In the middle of Florida or Texas, and then they're all having to fly back, and then they can't. So it's been tough for him to visit places. That is obviously one thing, but his first game experience will be this weekend. And And then I would say, look,
Take it all
there's a
in,
bunch of
Coach.
kids on the list, but Isaac Smith will be one to watch. He's a kid out of Mississippi who is a safety in this class. They still want to add some safeties. They've offered him. He's coming this weekend, so he'll be one to keep an eye on. But again, Ole Miss wants him, State wants him, and
No, he gets the double dip then.
it is very tough for anyone to go into Mississippi and get kids. Like getting Deion Smith was the number one player in Mississippi was really impressive. And then a year later, he leaves to go to Mississippi JUCO, and he's trying to get back on board with Ole Miss. So you get how hard it is to take them from Mississippi and keep them out of Mississippi. Like even for Bama, I saw Bama was talking about a kid they were recruiting in Mississippi trying to flip, and they were like, "We've won all these national championships, and we still can't get Mississippi kids
They just want to stay
to
in
pass
state.
up Ole Miss or
Come to the
State."
SIP, baby.
So
I can't go. I don't know that. Have you ever?
Miami,
I've
baby.
never even been to Starkville.
I have.
I've never been to.
Went for baseball camp. It's Starkville. Like it's what you would expect.
What is it like? Where's Baton Rouge on that list? Of, like, is this
of what?
like livable cities? Like, when you think of like, do people that go to Mississippi State are like, oh, it's in Baton Rouge? Like we're like, oh, Starkville.
The only thing in Starkville is Mississippi. Like,
Well, I
from
mean,
what saw,
I would
Mississippi
say
State
LSU
coach.
from afar is viewed just as like the capital, so it's obviously going to have some things. It's got multiple colleges here.
Right, but I'm talking about
big.
like, yeah, if you're a recruit, like, is it?
It's
like,
cooler than
in Starkville.
you'd-
Okay, I just didn't know
you'd
where
think
LSU
so.
was on that on that
Yeah, LSU's cool.
because you said, oh, Starkville has his Mississippi State. Oh, Baton
Coach,
Rouge
I'm telling
has
you.
his LSU.
And they share an indoor with the baseball team.
Oh, hate it here.
Lyle Baloney, any chance on Osbury flip? No, I think the Osbury's always we're going to go out of state. I think he'll end up at Notre Dame. Richard Sine, is Harvey Broussard on the radar? Yeah, I won't be surprised out of St. Martinville if Harvey Broussard gets offered and ends up in the class. And because I think it's a wide receivers numbers game too. Yes, they have 4 guys committed. Yes, I do think all 4 of those guys are going to sign. But you entered the year with 8 scholarship receivers. Normally you would carry more than 10. Chris Hilton and Ibiet have been hurt, so now you're down to 6 scholarship receivers. All of them are having to play. Next year, you're not going to have Butte. You're not going to have Dre Jenkins. So that 8 goes down to 6 already. Then you presume all of them have to stay healthy to even stay at that 6. That's why you want to add 4. You'll be at 10. I think they'll want to add 1 more. So I'd keep an eye on Harvey Broussard.
It's crazy how LSU feels so deep at wide receiver, but then if you fast forward 1 year, it's
like
almost back to the drawing board. But because I guess you'll have Malik back, you'll have Jack Besh back,
Brian Thomas. Who else plays that?
But
Kyron
Joey Jett brings up a good.
Kyron Lacey could come back, right?
Oh, damn, it's almost already 11. We'll have to. Yeah, Kyron Lacey. Everyone can come back except. Well, Dre's not even a super senior. He could technically come back, but he's not. He already did that. I'm coming back for my 5th year thing.
my last
Kayshawn
ride.
just like, oh my god,
That's not going to happen.
Keyshawn,
hey.
I don't. Dude, there's probably people.
Joe,
Did you see the video of him speaking in the locker room at halftime though?
that's on LSU Gold. Did you watch the LSU Gold episode?
Look, I'm not all the way in on the LSU Gold. Didn't
Well,
pay
then-
for the subscription, but I did watch the minute
How
and
did you
30
get
second
that?
clip
Oh, okay.
that they
yeah.
posted on Twitter.
Yeah, but then apparently on Gold, it's the whole thing is him leading up to it, talking to him with the.
Oh, you probably have like LSU.
I pay for it.
Oh yeah,
What?
the lies.
I support.
The lies.
No, I pay
Why
for
don't
it.
you
I
just
paid
cook
$100.
dinner one night? that would be the
like,
same thing.
Hey,
No, I'm paying.
Emily,
Emily,
And I'm not
trying to
giving.
get LSU Gold.
I'm paying for it because
are you paying for it on 3?
$1.
Guy pays for his own company.
He's got his own sweatshirt.
$1.
I had to buy this.
Paying for my own work.
Oh man,
Paying myself right now.
That's right. He's double dipping.
Does the payroll every week. He's
Yeah.
like,
That's an expense account.
shave a few of those dollars off
All right.
those subscriptions.
Yes, it's on. No, but on Gold, you get all that locker room stuff.
Mm.
Kayshawn was into it. All right.
He's
well,
back, coach.
we'll have
There's
to
people
move.
that would sign up for him not coming back next year even if he wanted to. Like, not me, but I feel like the
I don't
LSU
want-
fan experience would be
Take
like,
the number 7 off of him.
he's wearing 7. I thought he had to leave after that. Shit. What kind of 7 comes back 2 years?
Adley Highsmith.
Yeah. Patrick Peterson.
All right, we're gonna have to move quick here. It's almost 11. There's a ton of questions in here. All right, I'll speed
We
round
can save
these.
some of them for next week if we want.
God, I've had to scroll all the way. Damn, there are a lot of questions today.
My trick is
All right.
Control F, and I type in Ask Shea, and it'll kind of let you jump around a little bit if you want to do it that way.
But Joey Jett brought up a good point. To answer the earlier question, that's how far back we were on the chat, that they offered and didn't get, or whatever, or they didn't offer. Any of the dudes left wanted to play a different position. So we should have said Dak Prescott was who we wish they would have gone after.
That's
Dakota.
true. It's been a hell of a tight end for him.
Yep.
Hitting them across the middle.
Do you think John Emery leaves after this season? I mean, I would guess. He's been in college for a while now, but I don't know. What tight end prospects LSU pushing for? Are they waiting on Trey Des Green for next year? No, they're pushing the Brett Norfleet kid committed to Missouri is one. There was the kid committed to Vanderbilt that they're recruiting right now out of Texas. So they are wanting more tight ends in this class beyond Mac Markway.
God.
I
I think LSU should offer Harvey Broussard, huh?
I think it's a possibility.
I mean,
He's a good player, and he's 6'3.5". He's long.
Making plays.
Working this camera, my God.
Yeah, I mean, they got me
Struggling.
working. They got me working the camera
Yeah,
just high.
I'm high.
But I mean, guys making spectacular catches.
Man, John Emery only. How many attempts would you say he had? Would you guess he has this year, Stewie?
50.
40.
All right. Right in that area.
That's just crazy that he just can't seem to. I
It's
guess they
like-
take him off the field because his pass pro is not very good.
But it's like almost like a give and take thing with John. You know, like sometimes he's like really good, like because they started him against Florida and he looked good. Like it wasn't like he wasn't doing anything bad, and then like they just went to Josh Williams and Josh Williams got the hot hand and they rode it.
Someone asked about Marcel Reed. Actually, someone named Joey Freshwater. Thoughts on us landing Marcel Reed? Maybe he then means Ole Miss because he's committed to Ole Miss. I don't know much about Marcel Reed. LSU never got involved there. But I do appreciate the Ole Miss fans showing up in the chat.
Absolutely.
25 running backs going crazy. Yep. Anyone that Bama or A&M poached from us last year that we could possibly bring home? No, it's way too early. I mean, I guess they're talking about that whole crop of receivers that ended up at Bama.
Weren't we in the running for?
young.
I think if O was here, we probably would have been in the running for Jameer Gibbs.
What's Dre Jenkins' ceiling in the NFL? I think Dre Jenkins can play on Sundays.
He's an NFL player.
I think he's an NFL player too,
Like,
and not just practice squad. I think he can
like
play in
a
the
player,
NFL.
like
Um,
contributing.
Any chance they take a flyer on Fields from Dutchtown? He's been committed to Purdue. I haven't heard anything warm up there, but it's something I'll keep an eye on.
It's our fastest hour yet.
Osbury flip. Got to be trimming that list if you tagged Hayes. That's correct. Where's Cam Evans recruiting the senior from Huntington High in Shreveport? I'm not sure where he's at right now in terms of his recruitment. I'd have to look that up. We could write that one down and come back to you next week. LSU does recruit North Louisiana. I just think people are asking why they don't. They do.
I see my guy.
Is Monroe North Louisiana?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see my guy Wardell Mack coming in this weekend, huh?
Yep.
LSU. See,
Mhm.
gotta have him. Colage Cobbins coming back too. Gotta have him.
How do you know?
Yeah, LSU's always recruit North Louisiana.
Yeah, they're always recruiting. They've had a what
Tough
is it?
time.
It's the barber up there. Is that who everybody references for Alabama? That like
TD84. I'll pay the $1, but how do I get the hat? Okay, so if you pay the $1 to sign up for the Bengal Tiger on 3, you get everything on 3, $1 for a year. So that's easy enough. Then go to the message board, the LSU message board, and there'll be some instructions there on how to get the hat.
They should go.
is it in the lobby or
They
the
should go
Ponderosa?
hoodie. They should go.
It's in the
hoodie and
Ponderosa.
hat for $1.
I'm just gonna post the link.
Yep, Hunter Fournette. The hat shows up in like a day, too. Cody Boudreaux wants a hat. Get on there. I'll post the link again today. I don't use social media only. I can't DM. I use YouTube. All right, well, sign up for the Bengal Tiger, and then on 3, and then go to the Ponderosa, the message board page, and then I'll make a post on there about how to get the hat.
Yeah, there's nothing on it.
Brandon Hollingsworth, is Jordan Matthews a potential flip candidate? Jordan Matthews is in hog heaven right now, or I guess ball heaven.
Yeah.
He was at that game, and he seems very locked in, and I'm not sure how far LSU's going there anyways. So,
I think you said it's you can't find this atmosphere anywhere else in the country.
Cody, is it a cool hat? It's $1.
Just jabbing
It's
it up.
actually the hat's free. So, Doesn't matter how cool.
Wait, and the hat is actually cool. It's good looking. I don't know if we have a picture of it, but
Cordell Music.
Damn,
I can't DM you. You don't follow me. Okay, if you can't find it on the board, Cordell, then I'll DM you. I'll find you. Subscribe to TD84. Subscribe to the Bengal Tiger, but is it a website? It is.
It is.
We're making progress.
It's a forum. It's like it's everything. Everything all in one
So
spot.
I guess to explain, On 3 is the national brand. The Bengal Tiger is the subsect of it that covers exclusively LSU recruiting. So that's really the part that you would want anyway. So go ahead and subscribe to the Bengal Tiger.
We got some team stuff. We got team stuff on there.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying
in.
this is if you want LSU news first.
Yeah. And you get,
This is where I
And you
find
get to
myself.
read everybody else's recruiting news too.
Absolutely.
they got basketball on there.
There's
You get
basketball.
everything.
Chance
I'm
Babin.
just looking at the page right now, and you tell me when you see a basketball. I mean, jeez.
Well, we're heavy on football, my dude.
Football season.
Yeah, it is football season. Sorry. Just saying. You get everything on there.
Julian Sayin, close to a decision.
Let's see. Yeah, Julian Sayin actually came out today and said that after he visits Bama this weekend, he'll settle in, and then he's going to still announce something before his senior year ends, which is coming up soon. So LSU is still in the lead there. 2024 quarterback Julian Sayin. Chance Babin, other than DJ Chester, he's an O-lineman out of Georgia. What other O-lineman might get an offer? I'm not sure who might get an offer, but that's something I'm watching. But I do think Chester is their best chance of adding another lineman right now, and that would give them four really good ones. So we'll keep an. I need to catch up with him, so I'll catch up with him soon.
See, that's what's great about this show. It gets your schedule in order.
Deron Reed is a beast. He's a defensive line commitment. I think he's going to be really good next year, or in the future. But I think he could play next year for LSU. Oh, now I'm catching up to the part of the chat where they're debating how fun it is to live in BR. We're getting a Shake Shack.
We are. Did you see that?
I didn't, but don't get my hopes up.
It's the building's there with the
Where is
letters and everything. Where is it?
It's like, is it?
I see it every day.
I think it's like on the road going like to the mall.
Oh yeah, that's where it is. It's right next to my. That's like where like off Bluebonnet.
Yeah.
No, Cody Booter said he just signed up for LSU Gold because of me.
There you go.
Shout out.
How much is LSU Gold? Like, what do we?
$9.95.
A month?
It's maybe less than that.
Is it a month or is it
Yeah.
like? For the
But
whole-
I think it's a month. But there's
$10
like
a
everything.
month?
There's now I'm not being a stan here, but I am a member and I watch it. Like the basketball team's practice cut-ups are all on there. Like
Shay, just
baseball
give me your
team.
login.
Yeah, just give me your login.
Y'all are missing out, dog.
I mean-
Not for long.
I mean, if
Not
you
for
give
long.
us login,
Yeah, no,
we won't be
keep
missing
your hat.
anything. Yeah, I'll give you
I
that.
need this for
back.
my job. It's a tax write-off.
And then it's got all the like hard knocks basically for the football team every week.
Oh, I mean, come on, Shay.
It's
like-
good. You should just watch it.
Like, you should.
Yeah.
I'm only charging you $1 for a year at the
I
know,
Bengal
that's what I'm
Tiger.
saying. It's
You
hard
can
to-
charge me $1 and I'll get that.
Yeah,
that
we
LSU
can
Gold
cut a
pass
deal
for
off
it.
here. All right, that was the recruiting power hour. Is there anything else
Oh man,
on there?
Cordell asked anyone from Bastrop. What stinks about Bastrop is that Neville took their best player and Zalance Hurd.
We don't recruit.
yeah, right.
Wait,
The
he's
best-
from Bastrop? That
Yeah, he's
sucks.
playing D-line at Bastrop. I remember
Ugh.
I had a coach ask me, hey, this kid at Bastrop, he's good. You got any info on him? So I called over to Bastrop there. He didn't go here anymore. I was like, oh.
You don't go here
He's
anymore.
like, where's
now.
he going? There he goes to Neville now. I was like, okay. This is like in like the spring. I guess he'd gone to Neville. So I called Will Campbell, and Will Campbell was in high school at the time. I was
Sup,
like, hey,
Shay?
is this kid Zalance Hurd on your team? And he's like, I don't know. Our first day of practice is this week or whatever. It was like spring ball. He's like, I can tell you when we get out there. He's like, all right. Well, a couple of days later, he hits me back. He's like, yeah. He's like, Zalance is on the team. And now I'm about to like tweet it and put out like he left Bastrop. He's on Neville now. And I was like, are you? And it's funny now thinking back on it. And I had never seen Zalance before anything. And I was like, are you sure it was him? And Will Campbell just responded, oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure. And then when you saw the
See
picture
him.
of Will Campbell and his other alignment, it was like him and Zalance. And then like other three starters like in the group photo with him, like
Yeah.
this tall. And I was asking him, I was like, no, you sure about that, Will, that this
Put this out on the internet.
that was Zalance Hurd? He's like,
Oh, yeah.
he's like, yeah, I saw him. It's definitely him.
Dude. That's awesome. Yeah, it's gotta be.
Yeah,
When
Rob
did he play-
Boudreaux
he
said
played-
make Jordy pay for it. Yeah.
Did he play? He played right tackle? Well, Will Campbell played left tackle.
Yeah.
God.
Yes, he did. Cordell said, y'all are treating Shay's accounts like Netflix. Everybody's logged
Everybody
in
I
right
mean,
gets
now.
in.
hey, look, we're all friends here.
Yeah, this is what you do with your friends. Make a podcast about recruiting.
Hashtag share the login.
Yeah, share the login.
Brock TV, this will be the last one. Last one I see, at least. Trey Holly and Caleb Jackson are they traditional stud backs that LSU's had in the past. Current running back room leaves a lot to be desired. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Trey Holly set the state's record rushing record, which Kenny Hilliard and Nick Brissett had both done.
None set the world on fire at LSU.
What stinks about Caleb Jackson is he's hurt right now. So, like, his senior year, which would be his best year, he's been sidelined. But I do think both are very solid backs. Then again, you see Emory coming out of high school is a cut above all, like, athleticism. He can jump 40 inches. His highlights are insane. He runs a 4.4 something. And we're just waiting for, you know.
I mean, he's showing that vert every week, Coach.
Oh, yeah, he can't. He does show it off.
He can't stay
But
off
even
of it.
then, I mean, he's splitting the reps with Josh Williams and Armani Goodwin and Noah Kane. So.
It almost seems like they just don't let him get a hot hand. Like,
He seems so close to breaking a couple of these
that's what I'm
things
saying.
off,
It's
yeah.
like,
I don't
it's
know,
like-
too, if we've moved away from the days of, like, Jeremy Hill's going to get 29 carries
Oh my
tonight.
God.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He's going to bust 2 of them.
But everybody's getting touches.
Everybody in the stadium knows this toss dive's going left right now.
Jeremy Hill,
Jeremy
8.
Hill is going to.
That South Carolina game was unbelievable.
Ooh.
But yeah, I don't think they're getting 33 carries.
You know what I mean?
33.
Like-
yeah.
So I think it's good that you recruit guys like this, and they're a little bit of a complement to each other in terms of their running styles and
They're also
body
versatile.
types. So
Were you there, South Carolina?
Mm-hmm.
I hate you.
It was awesome.
My friends went.
Sam Montgomery.
My friends
going
barely
crazy.
got in.
Yeah, it was packed.
Randy Lanewell said, "Great show. Thanks, Randy."
Thanks, man. We try.
There's another one on there. What is it today?
That's it.
Love you guys.
Is that one from the Culotta show?
No, that one says share the login.
Login.
Hashtag share the login.
Not coming
Shay.
in there for the
Oh,
collage.
that's weird. It's not showing up on my own YouTube channel. All right. That was a good power hour.
All right, we flew right by.
I know. Fastest one yet. And she told me an hour's not long.
Taggy Curtis was decommitted, by the way.
Yeah.
But then recommitted.
I'm on his Twitter.
recommitted.
I'm telling you. He's
By the time I look, he'll be recommitted.
Yeah.
flirting with Wisconsin now.
And Jermaine Burton is not in jail.
Actually, he's going to Iowa.
Jermaine Burton?
No.
That is jail.
Taggart Curtis.
Yeah, perfect.
That's Iowa.com.
He waved to the kids.
About to score 2 points.
Iowa's offensive jail. If you go there as an offensive player, that's jail.
Their coach said he
And it's
will
their-
not, he doesn't want to play the backup. Like, he's saying, like, it won't help the offense.
So it's your fault. I'm telling you right now, our offense is no good. So it doesn't matter who we play.
It's just bad.
And I think he's the coach's son, isn't he?
Who the...
Iowa's offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a rough dinner.
I got a stealer at Iowa. He's just... living
Kirk
his-
Ferentz?
Yeah. He's been there forever.
Been there
Ever.
forever.
He's going to die there.
He might,
He's
maybe.
going to let him die on the sidelines. ESPN Live. Keep the cameras rolling.
I mean, if you take away, it could technically be seen as murder if Iowa fires Kirk Ferentz and then he dies.
Yeah.
It's like a Joe Paterno scenario where it's like, this is all
Yeah.
I had in life.
No, we're ending the show. We're not getting into any Joe Pod talk here, boys. Not on my watch.
Speaking of Penn State recruiting,
Not on my watch. All right.
that's not recruiting.
Doing it
That's
again.
grooming.
We're doing it again next week.
Next
at
week.
10. Thanks to the chat today. They were
Joe
active.
Paterno? Oh.
I'm coming with some North Louisiana intel next
There you
week.
go.
Yeah.
Turns out half the chat's just North Louisiana people pissed off that
Zalon
Tigers
turned
aren't
left.
rented Zalon's.
Tired of rooting for Alabama,
Bastard.
God damn it.
How's
Got all my kids.
How's Kendrick Law doing at Alabama?
Yeah, sorry about that.
All right, guys. See y'all later. Next
Later,
week. Next
later.
Wednesday.
Shout out
Same
Lance
time,
Bill.
different place.
Lance Bill.
Lance Beal, play
Shout out. Lance
Harris, and
Beal.
here comes a special LSU Gold preview brought to you by Lance Beal.
Used to be, when you needed legal help for complicated issues, you could walk into your hometown lawyer's office and get assistance for a variety of legal needs. Nowadays, every time you have a different issue, it seems like you have to meet a new lawyer at a new law firm for every legal problem. Attorneys Lance Beal and Kenny Hebert at Beal & Hebert in Lafayette are here to offer you one law firm for all your legal needs. Beal & Hebert have several attorneys experienced in multiple areas of law. Whether it's personal injury, family law, estate planning, business law, construction law, and more, Beal & Hebert can handle all of your legal needs. Beal & Hebert, Louisiana's hometown lawyers.